Hi guys, hello. How you guys doing? Hope you're doing well. We're starting right into it. Oh, no, I don't need introductions. Oh my god. Finally. Finally. After how many streams, we can finally do Yanagi's route. Guys, you have no idea how excited I am. Ooh, is this X Day? Are we like alternate history this shit? Or January 1st, 20XX. It's been a year since the project began. This is a record of the March to X Day. This is written as a report though someone may view it as a diary. I've decided to leave this record as a way to keep myself calm. Our plan refined over— Hi Poochie! Oh, I'm sorry you're tired. Though honestly, I felt that. I felt that. Our plan, refined over a decade, is finally coming to fruition. Or is it? The countdown's executors have assembled. On April Fool's 1st, the restoration will begin. Why April though? Why April 1st? Hi Surande, thanks for the hip pats. Like, of all days to do this kind of thing, why April 1st? That is quite literally the worst fucking day to do it. The plan has been revised countless times. All the necessary materials have been acquired. All of our preparations should be complete. However, precisely because everything was set to begin, I was racked by a mess of emotions. Joy, anticipation, conceit, and unease. Were there any undiscovered holes in the plan? Had we truly created a plan with no flaws? Regardless of how many simulations we run, nothing can account for the unexpected developments. Above all, would my heart be able to bear all the sorrow and pain our actions would create? In order to evaluate myself objectively, I've decided to write this record. When I read this in a year on the dawn of X Day, I'm sure I'll feel a sense of accomplishment. Someone once said, hate the sin, not the sinner. But this view is incorrect. The sin-committing humans should be hated. Their species caused despair and sowed evil, he says as if he's not fucking human. What a loser. To purge the humans corrupting this world, we had to swiftly deliver judgment. We had to become stronger, so strong that we could eliminate all sadness. We need to do it with our own hands, to save those who were devastated in sorrow. He's not like other girls. He's not like other girls. He's a terrorist. Oh my god, what is this, a horror movie? Game, chill. Yanagi's round! Yay! A memory that I wanted to erase. But I could never forget it. I couldn't allow myself to forget it. What the fuck? That's definitely what I thought. I completely lost control of my thoughts. My hands were moving reflexively. Instinct has completely taken over. What the fuck? Yanagi-senpai! Enomoto! They're gay! They're gay!
何度も声かけたのに全然反応ないからぼーっとしちゃって目開けたまんま寝てたんですか
Enomoto was staring right in my face, saying something odd. The jarring sight made me blink. He'd appeared to have been calling my name. I was so deep in thought that I hadn't noticed. I tried to block it out, but it kept playing. Memories, nightmares, playing on mental repeat. Damn. Thinking about myself, I smiled bitterly.
少し考え事をしていた。
柳先輩でも妄想とかするんだ。は
Enomoto, he's so innocent. Enomoto, please, never change. Never change. What was that supposed to mean? He just answered his doubts with a look. Enomoto's mouth formed a sloppy grin.
だって、いくら考え事つってもさ、先輩がそこまでぼーっとするなんて珍しいじゃないですか。だとしたら、やっぱ仕事のことじゃなくてプライベートのことかなと。もしや、好きな子のこととか。
Poor Yanagi. I've decided to just let Enomoto's teasing slide for now. A pure, uncorrupted being. He's just some guy. He's just a guy. Hi, nerd. I hope you're doing well. It's been a while. Or I guess not that long. You were in chat during the collab, but he's a dude and he's great and I love him. He's such a nice guy. He doesn't know anything. I shrugged and checked at the clock. It was almost time for our appointment.
謎に包まれた柳先輩のプライベート、ちょっと暴いてみたかったのにな。
He truly is a guy.
お前が聞いて面白いものは隠れてない。話のネタにするなら、お前の恋愛遍歴の方がよっぽど盛り上がると思うぞ。
Hey yo. And Mineo Enomoto is a hapless romantic with a history of love affairs that date back to kindergarten. After learning his teacher was married, he cried for 3 days and nights. His memory haunts him to this day. I love Enomoto. He's perfect. He's so funny. People do not appreciate Enomoto enough.
そりゃ残念なネタならいくらでも。ってそうじゃなくて、柳先輩、あまり自分のこと話さないから、興味半分じゃなくて、たまには男同士のくだらない話にも付き合ってくれねえかなって。
とにかく、これから来る奴らは一筋縄じゃいかない連中だからな。
さらっとする。
Poor Enomoto. He just wants to get to know Yanagi.
あまり浮かれてると、その価値なしとみなされて協力してもらえないかもしれないぞ。
柳先輩、この俺を誰だと思ってるんですか。
榎本でしかないと思っている。
場の盛り上げは俺の1000倍特許っすから。どんな人見知りのやつでも心開いてみせますよ。奥義、まずは天気の話から。
求められているのはそういう部類の能力じゃないと思うがな。
ま、大丈夫ですって。柳先輩が選んだ人なんだし。
I wonder who.
全然心配してねえから。
I don't see Sasuke here, so it's probably Sasuke, unfortunately.
にしてもな、どういう感じ。
God damn it! It really is Sasuke.
元再犯の人ですよね。俺が警察にいた時はそういう人たちと連携取るのが上の役目だったしな。ちょっと楽しみ。
能力は保証する。だが実際に会ってみたらそんな能天気ではいられないと思うぞ。
お、なんですか。
Just don't be yourself. I'm sorry. I was wasting my breath. Enomoto didn't even realize what he was doing. This office was our headquarters. We were a detective agency, but that was a name only. We had an appointment with some odd guests. I wonder how the office makes money. How do they make money? That's what I want to know. How do they afford to keep this place running? Both of them were renowned nonconformists. One of them I'd never actually spoken to before, but the rumors gave me an idea of what to expect. The other was an old acquaintance, but he was definitely a special case. Ah, yes, him.
まあ会えばわかる。覚悟しておけ。
へいへい。柳先輩って結構心配性だよな。
Seeing Enomoto smile so wide had the opposite effect of what he intended. Like me, Enomoto once worked for the police. However, he quit after being betrayed. Ever since then, he hasn't trusted people. I couldn't really blame him for that.
久々に再会した俺に対しても警戒心を隠そうとしなかったからな。
When Enomoto was with the police, we crossed paths several times at crime scenes. We didn't interact often, but we knew each other enough for him to invite me drinking, so I think our relationship is decent. But it's like he's become a totally different person since he quit the force.
悪いな、榎本。
なんですかいきなり。
俺も協力者を増やすことでことがうまく運ぶかと。
who cares about that? They can suck it if they don't get along with my boy, Sasaska.
このまま俺たち二人でやっていても独自捜査には限界がある。
だから言ったじゃないですか。柳先輩の選んだ人なら大丈夫だって。俺だって全然役に立ってないしさ。柳先輩の負担が減るなら万々歳っすよ。
そうか。
I couldn't help but return Enomoto's smile. I recalled when I first invited Enomoto to help me after we both quit the police. Satake recommended him, and I was aware of who he was, so I figured it was worth a shot. But back then, Enomoto didn't trust anyone. I could still remember the way he eyed me.
今も捜査に対して積極的な。
Enomoto trusts me deeply now. When I first suggested we add more collaborators, he agreed with me. Even though I knew he was still reeling, I'm glad to have his trust. There was a knock on the door.
来たみたいですね。
Without waiting for us to respond or knock, the visitor quietly opened the door.
やあ、柳くん、久しぶり。
The grinning man of one of the people that we'd been expecting.
先週会ったばかりだろ。あれ、そうだったっけ？
Catman!
その時に今日の待ち合わせを決めたはずだが。
I can't look at Shiraishi anymore without thinking about his last bad ending. I can't think his last bad ending haunts me like a nightmare, but also yeah, like a nightmare. It haunts me, bro.
仕事とは関係ないことに興味が出て脱線するせいじゃないか。うん、それは当たり。まあ、お前のことはいい。で、そっちが笹塚健だ。
This fucker. I'm Takeru Sasasuka, 24. Oh, you mean he's Takeru Sasasuka, 24. He's an IT specialist who used to be assigned to the Cyber Crimes Prevention Division. He was one of the people who brought on at Investigations HQ prior to my resignation. I only knew him from his resume because I couldn't remember all of the new faces there. I was probably the same to him. He had no reason to remember my face. I heard of his considerable talents. Legality aside, he specialized in hacking.
24歳にしてはどうなんだ。
That was my first impression of Sasasuka. He didn't look like a genius hacker to me.
なんだ、あの目。
As soon as Sasasuka entered the room, he'd been glowering at us with a narrow-eyed glare. The look he gave me and Enomoto. It was almost a look of animosity. It was our first meeting, so I had to wonder what had so thoroughly rankled him. He's just a bitch boy.
この人がプロファイラーなんですか？マジで？つうかちっちゃ。
Enomoto, please. Please! Enomoto seized upon the moment to shatter the silence and tension without the slightest hint of restraint. Sasasuka visibly stiffened. He was obviously upset.
榎本、違う。 プロファイラーはこっちの白石だ。
え
ずいぶん鈍い子だね。俺と柳くんの会話で察せないなんて。
すみません。
俺は白石景之、警視庁の科捜研所属。今は新宿署で機動捜査支援係の主任やってます。X デー事件が複雑になってきてから新宿署に出向したから、君とは会ったことなかったね。会ってても白石は覚えなさそうだから。名前なんだ。
えのき。
あ、えのきくん。
あ、榎本っす。さっき柳先輩が呼んだばっかですよね。
そうだったっけ。
うわ、もしかして人の話聞いてない系。まあいいや。よろしくお願いします。俺は榎本峰夫。元は新宿署の第二機動捜査隊にいました。俺プロファイラーに会うの初めてなんですよ。ちょっと観察しただけで相手のことが何でも分かっちゃって。
Minamoto was a bit starstruck by Shiraishi. I've lost count of the times I've seen this. I heaved a sigh. Profiles were psychological analysts, not mind readers.
面白いこと言うね。
He faced Enomoto's misconception head on. Shiraishi laughed as if enjoying himself. Of course he is. He finds entertainment in the weirdest of places. I really gotta fix that.
マジで？
俺に隠し事はできないと思った方がいいかもしれないね。
なんでもってどこまで？
Like fucking everything, Enomoto.
今日の君の朝食は白米と魚だったでしょ。
え？なんでわかったんすか？
Anyone could know by looking at him. Enomoto didn't appear to have noticed, but there was rice on his shirt collar. It wasn't dried out, so it must have fallen there pretty recently. Fish was a standard compliment to white rice for breakfast. He probably played the odds. Not to take anything from how quickly Shiraishi figured Enomoto out. It's okay. We all know he's stupid.
で、土方歳三が好きなんだね。
Enomoto was currently up in front of his desk. In the corner of his somewhat sloppy arranged desk lay several books. All of them had titles. All their titles had Toshizo Hijikata or Shinsengumi in them. Still, to notice this so quickly, Shiraishi had undoubtedly very skilled at his job.
あと、そこの本棚に隠してるやつは隠し場所変えた方がいいよ。
When he finally spun to check his bookcase, Enomoto stubbed his foot on his chair. His expression and the way his eyes locked on the shelf completely gave away his stash. Shiraishi had started chuckling at Enomoto's transparent reactions.
いかがわしい本か。
なんでわかんの
？Enomoto, please. Please, get yourself together. You're a grown-ass man. You used to be a cop. He didn't even need to express how much he enjoyed Enomoto's sincere surprise and awe. I felt a little sorry for him, but I didn't want to drag this out. Sasuke had stayed quiet during it all. Shut the fuck up! You're right, but shut the fuck up! I was too late. Sasuke practically spat the words out.
無理。白石さん、悪いけどこんなバカと一緒に捜査とか絶対無理だ。
If only it went this way. If only he just left and wasn't a part of the game. If only.
まあまあ落ち着いて。
落ち着けるかい。バカの近くにいるとこっちまでバカになる。
I'm so tired, man.
てかどんだけバカなんだこいつ。信じらんない。
How many times do you have to say it? God, just looking at his fucking neon blue hair fucking hurts my eyes. Neon blue bitch boys, seaweed head.
おい、さっきから何バカ連呼って、もしかしてバカって俺のことかよ。
Enomoto, please.
榎本。
I didn't say it out loud. I knew this was only gonna get worse.
そうに決まってんだろ。他に誰がいる？そんなこともわからねえくらいバカ。は、想定外のバカだな。バカ選手権があったら優勝できるぞ。よかったな。
なんだよお前。人のことバカって言う方がバカだっつの。だいたいワカメみたいな頭しやがって。
I'm so tired of him.
えのきとわかめ。いい組み合わせかも。
Yep. Miso soup duo.
それ、お前がバカなこととは全然関係ない。そもそも、白石さんがお前のことバカにしたの、本気で分かってねえの？
はあ？なんだよそれ。
バカの上に恥の上塗りかよ。あれは
素人って。
プロファイラーじゃない俺にだってそれくらいわかる。
おい、そりゃどういう意味だよ。喧嘩売ってんのか？売ってるよな。
I want to see them fight. I want to see them fight, low-key. I want to see that. I want to see that. I want to see them throw hands. I feel like it'd be so funny to see them throw hands.
そこまで。
I had to put this all to a stop. I couldn't let them go on any longer. At least I understood one thing. These two would not get along.
柳先輩、だってこいつ。
自己紹介すら済んでないうちから喧嘩はやめてくれ。改めて、俺は柳愛知。元は警視庁捜査一課にいた。お前の自己紹介も頼む。
どうせ知ってるんで。じゃなくて、俺まだ協力するかどうか決めてないんだけど。
Uh-huh.
つかこんなのがいるんじゃ無理だ。やってられねえ。
Of course, Sasuke's glare was directly squarely at Enomoto.
俺かよ。
だから他
でもいいのかな。柳くんたちに協力してくれないなら情報はあげないよ。
別にそれならそれで。
From the way that Sasuke stumbled, I sensed that he had come here as a part of some deal he made with Shiraishi.
警察内部の情報を横流しする約束か何かだろうな。
Shiraishi currently worked for the police, but he wasn't particularly loyal to the job. He'd be fired or worse if he was caught, but Shiraishi valued his own gains above that. Whatever Sasuke worked out with Shiraishi wasn't important right now. But I had something I wanted to say.
笹塚、俺と榎本、それから白石も、今この新宿で起こっている X デー事件を調査するためにここにいる。全員、目的は微妙に違うが、事件に対する熱意は本物だ。警察を抜けて独自で動いたとして、得られるものに限界があることは当然。それでも、今はできることをしたい。
Aw, Yanagi!
努力も手間も惜しまない。
俺は単純に謎を解きたいからだけど、謎が解ければ事件は解決するわけだし、だから熱意はちゃんと本物だよ。
うわ、うさんくさいな。
Enomoto fucking.
何を犠牲にしてもいいって思ってる。
He's not even wrong. Shut the fuck up, Shiraishi. He's not wrong.
いや、それはそれでどうかと思いますけど。てか、白石さんは現役なのに俺たちに協力してマジで平気なんですか？
問題ないよ。バレないようにうまくやるし、バレても君たちに脅されたとか言えばいいし。
俺たちを売る気満々じゃねえか。
それは脇に置いておくとして。
置いといちゃダメだろ。
で、榎木くんはどうしてここで X デー事件を調べてるの？
えのきじゃねえ、榎本です。
とりあえずそれもあっちに置いといて。
人の名前まで置いとくなよ。
で、
俺が事件を追ってるのは、俺は
Oh?
X デイ事件がどうして起きたのか知りたいだけです。
Oh, he's not gonna go into it. Damn.
どうして起きたか。
I thought I noticed Shiraishi's expression, actually becoming serious for a moment when he heard Enomoto's reply.
X デイ事件は警察の怠慢が引き起こしたんじゃないかって言われてるの。警察が抱えた闇とかずさんな体制が全ての原因だって。俺はそれが本当かどうか知りたいんです。警察の存在が事件を起こさせたのかどうか。
Uh-huh, yeah. I couldn't exactly tell why, but Shiraishi was fixated on Enomoto's facial expressions. Sasasuka, who had been verbally thrashing Enomoto moments prior, didn't say a word.
X デイ事件の犯人側がカウントダウンを始めたのは今年の4月だ。カウントダウン開始時の数値は9。世間も警察も1月には何かが起こるという見解。それも今までの事件よりももっと規模の大きいものだな。すでに10月だ。もうあまり時間は残されていない。組織を抜けた以上警察には頼るな。俺たちには協力者が必要なんだ。
Go off. Shiraishi worked for the police, but he was the only exception. We couldn't count on the police. Conversely, it would mean we couldn't trust the police. There were many factors that made it impossible for us to rule out the possibility of a mole inside the police.
笹塚、お前は群れるタイプじゃなさそうだが、それでも白石の誘いに乗ってここまで来た。それにはそれなりの理由があるんだろう。
俺は X デイ事件に興味はない。
Then, after a brief but awkward silence, he continued.
厳密に言えば犯人が誰かもどうでもいい。
Cause he's a bitch who only cares about getting rid of guns. Which is a nice... Getting rid of guns is nice, but come on. He wouldn't give a shit if they hadn't repealed the guns and swords control law.
おいお前。
榎本は
でも X デイ事件に興味ないとか俺たちと目的が違うってことじゃないです。そんな奴に協力してもらう必要はあんの？
まだ話の途中だ。おそらくな。
I think. I was taken aback, but it was too early to judge. Shiraishi just kept smiling. He'd probably known this from the start. There was some significance to Shiraishi bringing Sasasuka here.
俺の目的はこの新宿を元に戻すこと。ただそれだけだ。そのために X デイ事件を捜査する。犯人逮捕だとかは二の。
Yeah. Neither his expression or his words gave me any reason to doubt his sincerity. This was Sasasuka's real intent, his honest objective. In other
お前
words,
は新宿区の封鎖を解きたいのか。
I felt something was a bit off about my theory.
いや、違う。
Then I remembered that sharp glare of of his when he first entered. It was a hostility directed at something.
そうか。銃刀法を復活させたいんだな。
なんで
His fucking face. Fuck you. You're not so fucking. You're just as obvious as Enomoto sometimes. Fuck you. Sasasuka's eyes widened in surprise. It seemed that I hit the nail on the head.
お前がこの部屋に入ってきた時に少し引っかかったんだ。俺と榎本を見て一瞬だが表情が変わった。よくよく考えればお前の視線の先にはホルスターがあった。銃が嫌いならそういう目的でも不思議はない。
なるほど。ここにバカは一人しかいないみたいだな。
Sasasuka sneered, but I could tell by his eyes that the scorn had given way to calm.
わかった。俺は笹塚健。ハッキングが得意。以上。
At any rate, he was willing to help us now. Boo! Should have kicked him out. At least half of his motivation was the intel Shiraishi was offering, but I didn't mind.
これ
Whatever gets the job
よ
done.
ろしく頼む。
I softened my expression and extended my hand to shake. Saseska looked at my hand and closely at my face.
そういえば、柳さん、あんたの目的は、白石さんとそこのバカの目的はなんとなく分かったけど、あんたはどうして X レイ事件を捜査するんだ？
He cut straight to the heart of the matter. For a short moment, my thoughts stopped. If your thoughts stopped, you just gotta pay them more. Come on, strippers ain't cheap.
あんたはどうして X レイ事件を捜査するんだ？
どうしてか。
It had already been 2 months since the day Saseska first walked into this office. Back then, I couldn't respond right away. I remember replying that I couldn't condone terror and that I still had my convictions. Things like that.
それは間違いなく本音だ。事件を解決したい。少しでも被害を減らしたい。
When do we get to see Okazaki? Right now, Shinjuku wasn't normal. All semblance of normality had vanished. I wanted to take it back. I wanted to protect those who couldn't sleep. Those feelings were a lie. They couldn't be, but I couldn't escape the thought I had buried.
結局、俺は
Maybe what I wanted was just validations for myself.
あ、柳さんおはよう。
It's
朝ごはん
him!
の買い出し
Okazaki! Okazaki!
ああ、おい。
I'd been lost in thought, so I accidentally answered him normally. But that wasn't right. That wasn't how I should treat the man standing before me.
岡崎、お前、昨日の夜からずっとここに
No.
うん
You
俺
can't.
もお腹空いてる一緒に朝ごは
I
ん
spoke
食べ
to
て
him normally, and then I remembered this isn't how I should treat this man. This man should not be treated like a normal person. This man is far from normal. You cannot treat him that way. What are you, a freak? Why would you treat him Why would you treat him like a normal person?
いいわけないだろう。
なんで
Oh no.
何度も言うな。俺たちはお前に守ってもらう必要なんだな。
心配しなくても吉成君と交代でちゃんと休憩取ってるよ。
いや、お前の心配は一切してない。
へえ
Okazaki! This back and forth was giving me a headache. There wasn't a hint of tension in his absent-minded face. This odd man was STB officer assigned to us by the police. His name was Kei Okazaki. Of course, his bodyguard was in name. Our bodyguard was in name only. Someone at the police station just wanted to keep tabs on us.
まあ、怪しまれない方がおかしいが。
Anyway, Shiraishi still worked for the police. Saseska had quit the force just recently. Even Enomoto had worked his way into field ops team unusually quickly. I'm formerly from Investigations Section 1. Our team was bound to get noticed.
ただ、ST がつくのは腑に落ちないが。
SB's original mission was VIP protection. With all the chaos, there's gotta be far more important people to protect. No matter how much they suspected us, this wasn't something SP was typically tasked with.
ただの監視なら、公安でも巡回ついでの生活安全課で。
柳さんどうしたの？俺の顔なんかついてる。
Look, they just want to add another hot man to the roster.
いや、相変わらず顔だけはぼんやりしてるなと思っただけだ。
そう？大丈夫。顔はボケててもちゃんと任務は果たすよ。
I believe him. The way he deflected everything with his odd reactions made him difficult to deal with. Okazaki didn't usually engage in conversation. Shiraishi was troublesome in a different way. He was unaffected by my hostility towards him. I couldn't let my guard slip around him. The only option I had left was retreat.
中に入っていいの？
誰がそんなこと言った？警護なんて必要ない。さっさと帰れ。
Okazaki, no, don't go.
変わらず釣れないな。
Yeah, leave my lance alone.
Okazaki.
わかりました。おとなしく外で待機してます。
He stubbornly refused to leave. He had an inordinate amount of patience. Leaving the flippant Okazaki behind, I entered the office. I closed the door and looked around. 3 people were inside. Enomoto, who is typically here, Sasasuka, and
白石
Yanagi-kun, 待ってたよ。
oh my god, is this when we get the letter? Is this when we find a letter? Actually, no, it looks a bit too early for that. Shiraishi's post was at Shinjuku Station. He worked with us, but didn't come by much. But he was here. But here he was, early in the morning. And he was smiling, which made me pause. It looked like his typical bemused grin, but it appeared to be stronger today.
緊張しているあの白石が
It was the only way to describe it, though. Something was off. This didn't feel right.
あっちから接触してくれるとはな。
どういうことだ何が起こった
怒ったっつうか。
これを見てもらった方が早いね。
It's letter time! With that, Shiraishi handed me an unsealed envelope. The envelope seal was an anemone flower, the flower the symbol of Dawnus. There was also a letter inside the envelope. It read, as part of the countdown to X Day, a woman will be killed by poison in Shinjuku Garden on December 6th, midnight. Why was I pursuing X Day? I still didn't have the answer to that question that I honestly believed. But I couldn't afford to let this go.
あなたを思い出したくない
I had to become stronger, strong enough to prevent any more sorrow. I wanted to protect whoever I possibly could. That's all I believed. Aww, that's nice. And he protected us at least.
ここか
He found us! Hooray! My breath stuck in my throat. It felt like my throat had my it felt like my throat had seized up. At the indicated spot, there was a woman lying on the ground, surrounded by red flowers. It was exactly like that nightmare I once had. They couldn't fit the word "had." I wondered how much time. Okay. We've read this. You there. You there! How dare you almost die! You gave me a heart attack,
おい
bitch!
しっかりしろ
Yanagi! Yay!
無理に喋るな俺はお前を探していたんだお前の状況は把握してる心細かっただろうがもう大丈夫だ大丈夫だ絶対に助ける
Hooray! Once I heard those words, my crippling terror began to subside a bit. However, some doubt stubbornly remained. We're looking for me, and they know what happened to me. Wait, let's...
柳先輩
Fuck. Dude, imagine knowing the fucking controls. Yeah, we're skipping all this.
少しだけ我慢してくれ
Eyo. Hey yo? What a strange situation. I want to trust this man. The moment that thought formed in my mind. Ow! I let out a gasp as the collar lanced me.
まさか解除し
柳さんどうなんだ
When I heard their anxious voices, I worried that the darkness would claim me. But soon I felt something change. Huh? I can move. Oh wait, okay. They're administering the antidote. Okay. When I opened my eyes, the man holding me exhaled a sigh of relief.
どうやら解除は成功したようだな。
Hooray! It worked! Yes, I can feel my body again.
なんだよ紛らわしい
Oh, fuck you! I literally just woke up from being poisoned. Give me a break. It shouldn't even work this fast. Don't be. I felt the pain in my neck. I thought I was done for, but it seemed like I made it. Breathing had finally become easier, and I patted my chest in relief.
顔色もさっきよりマシだよな。
おそらくな。
Yanagi, was it? Thank you for saving my life. I was still woozy, but I managed to stand up and bow to him.
いや、俺だけの手柄じゃない。この二人もお前を探すために走り回ってたしな。
I turned to look at the other two as Yanagi mentioned them. Thank you.
そんなことはどうでもいいそれより犯人が何
Fuck you! Get off my ass! I'm sorry, I'd like to give you an answer, but I honestly have no idea.
それで納得できるわけないだろお前は殺されかけたんだぞ殺されるだけの理由があるんだよそう考えるのが普通だろ
What? Why is he being so hostile towards me? Cause he's just like that. He's just a bitch. I can't accept that you guys just show up out of nowhere, out of the blue either. It's not like I automatically trust you now. We're skipping.
わかっ
Don't report it. Okay, I'm assuming this is all the same. Because fuck you, Shiraishi. Back the fuck up. Every time I look at your face, I see the Catboy ending.
主任お客
失礼なの。
Okay. Wait, hold on. I should probably look up a guide. Lie. Okay, so apparently I shouldn't be skipping this because some of it's the same. Determined not to be jerked around, I changed the subject. We were outside of Shinjuku Station, so I should be able to ask about the others. Hey.
ここで柳くんたちとの関係を聞かれても何も答えないからね。
What? I was stunned that he denied me so abruptly.
考えを読まれて驚いてる。
How'd you know?
それが俺の仕事だからだよ。 観察してその人間の考えや行動を分析するんだ。
No, it's because the MC is obvious, just like Inamoto. You're a profile?
犯行の手口や統計学から犯人像を割り出してその心理を推論する。つまりプロファイリングするっていう仕事でね。この数年の間にプロファイラーも事件の捜査に加わり、捜査一課の人が目を光らせる。
Shiraishi sighed, disappointment on his face.
ま、ちょうどいいのか。
Slightly frightened by Shiraishi's cheerful tone, I revisited the topic. When you figured out what I was thinking, did you analyze me?
まだそんなに分析ってほどの。
Yep. That's not true. No, it's
そん
true.
なことあるって。君はさっきから俺のことばかり。知り合って間もない相手と距離を大抵そういった場合、同じ部署なら仕事の話が触れ、この状況下で君が俺と柳君たちの関係性に興味を持たないわけがない。
Hold on, I need to ask. Does caller X Malice skip unseen content? Hold on. Oops. Okay. We have it set so it's only. Because I don't really care about TechNet dialogue we've read before. Because at this point, we've read it like 4 times already. And they yap a lot, and I'd like to get to the point where that I care about. Which is literally everything else. So dude, they yap so much. Just get to the point. Quit yapping. Get to the question already or whatever. Come on. Okazaki! It's him! Window Man! I love him. I can honestly, personally, I can imagine Okazaki being a girl dad. Okazaki's such girl dad coded. Yeah, bitch boy is like... Me. Okazaki! I can see him on his off time, just hanging out, having tea parties with his daughter. With like a face caked full of like of toy makeup. It'd be so cute. See, he's so girl dad coded. Look, I just need people to acknowledge the fact that he's such a girl dad. Psyche, you suspicious fuck. You're a great friend and I'm sorry we don't hang out with you more in this game. Enomoto's about to flip. They truly Enomoto and the MC truly share a brain cell. Keep yapping. Do I really have that setting on? I can't do status. Damn. I guess I'm not really on his route yet. Just want to double check the settings because I'm paranoid. It is on. Oh, what? What is Love Catch? It's Okazaki again! Yay! Okazaki! He's walking us home. He's such a gentleman. Daddy Yanagi. I apologize for my cringe, but I'm not sorry. I am both sorry and not sorry. Okay. Akito, why the fuck did you do the things that you did? Why did you join Adonis? How dare you break my heart? Oh. The people who put this collar on me told me to investigate X Day. I had no idea why they'd make such a request. They sent notices to Yanagi's group, and they want me to work with them. That much I know. But what was the point? What could we find out that the police hadn't already uncovered? I don't feel like I'll be much help there. After all, I was still a rookie. I hadn't yet completed my first year on the job. Yanagi's team investigations were both giving their all to just glean basic details. Yet we don't even know what the criminals want. Their goal, right, their goal. The ghastliness and the confounding nature of the X-Day killings was bewildering, but they weren't isolated incidents. They were an organized series of crimes. Whether or not there were multiple criminals, the crimes all had to have a common goal. There are vague theories about Adonis being an anti-government or attempting a coup, but it didn't feel like it was something that simple to me. All the crimes have been part of a countdown. These crimes were the setup moves that were leading up to Checkmate, which is X-Day. In other words, the moves they wouldn't make sense without knowing their underlying motives. I need to collect my thoughts a bit more. I was confused from thinking about all the previous incidents at once. Unless I approached this from a different angle, I'd overlook something important. While I was deep in thought, my phone beeped. Oh, Yanagi! It was a text from Yanagi. That's right, we did exchange contact info. Is he worried about me? That thought put a little bit of warmth in my heart. I'm alright, nothing worth mentioning happened. Did Okazaki say anything? Okazaki? They must be really wary of leaking intel to him. I didn't tell him about the caller. Okazaki seemed to know a lot about all of you at the office, though. What did he say? He said that you're definitely the father of everyone at the office. I typed out the message as I recalled what Okazaki said in our conversation. I stopped short of sending the message. Must be really worried about something. I can imagine it. Okazaki acted differently than most people, and part of him that was pretty disarming. Oh, he replied. I was a little excited to see how Yanagi would react to my message. I am too, not gonna lie. What is gonna say that? I'm not nearly old enough to have 3 sons in their 20s. You act like their mother, though. In all rounds, you act like their mother. I couldn't help but chuckle at his overly serious reply. I think he means that you're reliable. I honestly can't tell with that guy. He certainly is. He's mysterious and hot. I mean, what? He looks dull, but he's pretty sharp. Don't let your guard down around him. Got it. I'll be careful. I couldn't let Okazaki know about the caller. I also couldn't let the fact that I was trying to investigate X-Day slip. I made a mental reminder to stay vigilant. Then I recalled something. It felt like the text exchange was over. Yanagi made no further replies. Come to think of it, Yanagi said he was investigating X-Day crimes as a whole. If that's the case, Yanagi might have some insight about the entire series of incidents. Yanagi, can I ask you a few things? What's up? I gulped. I typed out the text. What do you think Adonis' overall goal for the X-Day crimes is? Adonis claimed they meant to rescue society. If they were just committing indiscriminate murders, that wouldn't really make sense. These crimes definitely had a purpose much larger than simply killing people. There was no need to go to such ridiculous lengths just to commit mass murder. After a short while, the reply came. Revenge. Revenge. That word had profound weight to it. But before I could type out and put the pieces together, my phone beeped again. Oh my god! Yanagi meeting out with a woman late at night? Oh my god, how scandalous! Huh? I wasn't expecting that response. My train of thought was derailed and I just stared at my phone screen. And we do! I should apologize for making you come all the way out here. Yanagi turned and started walking. Where are we going? I followed him, puzzled.
お前も疲れてるだろう。いろいろあったからな。誰かもわからない奴に首輪なんてつけられて、知らない男たちに囲まれて、普通ならもっと取り乱したっておかしくない。
His grumbled words expressed a moderate display of concern for my well-being. A moderate display of concern. Maybe a little happy. I realized that he'd always been like this. Yanagi never acted like he suspected me. Instead, he treated me like I was a victim. I'm okay. I'm a police officer after all. So I had to make it clear to him. If I was a layperson, I might have just cooped myself up at home and cried. But that wasn't a luxury afforded to me. If I lose control here, I wouldn't be worthy of wearing the badge.
そうか。お前にはちゃんと覚悟があるんだな。
Aww. Yanagi glanced over at me, his expression softening.
お前の覚悟も知らずに、普通なんて型にはめたことを言って悪かった。
Why are they deciding to make me like him so much? Please don't apologize. I know I don't have any choice but to push on, but I'd be lying if I said I wasn't scared. It's true that the situation is chaotic, and I can understand why Sasuke and the others would suspect me. But there's something I haven't figured out.
なんだ?
You don't really seem to doubt me. Maybe he did, internally, but he showed no outward signs of it. Sasuke stated that I might be tied to the criminals, but Yanagi had defended me. In my opinion, Sasuke and Inamoto are the ones acting more normally. Objectively, I was the most suspicious person. My only claim to innocence was my words. Yanagi didn't say anything. I knew he wasn't ignoring me. He seemed to be deep in thought. Oh, we're here. The now silent Yanagi and I had now arrived at the detective's office.
今、事務所には誰もいない。全員出払ってるから遠慮するな。
Right. Damn, not even Enomoto? Okay. He said that, but for some reason, Yanagi went upstairs without entering the office. Wait for me. This is... It's the rooftop! Time to take a jump! No, I'm kidding. No. For legal reasons, that is a joke. He took me up to the rooftop of the detective's office. There was a sweeping nighttime view of the city, now sheathed in silence.
迷った時にここへ来ると落ち着くんだ。
I could feel the sadness in his voice. Without thinking, I looked at Yanagi, who was gazing at me as he talked. Yanagi? When I saw the sad look on his face, I was reminded of our first meeting. I remember when he picked me up while I was paralyzed by the poison.
俺が怖いか。これじゃまるであの時と同じだ。
Right now, I feel like Yanagi's eyes had the same uncertain look as he did before. When we met again at his office, he seemed more calm and reticent. I saw no hesitation in those eyes. Why do you look so sad? Yanagi's eyes went wide.
悲しい。
Aww. With a small sigh, Yanagi approached and stood next to me.
お前は俺を覚えてないか?
Dude, I fucking called it. I called it. I kept saying, oh, he's gonna have some backstory with the MC. And the MC's not gonna fucking remember. And and now he's like, you don't remember me, do you? And I'm like, of course it's this. I saw this coming. Huh? So he's saying we've met somewhere else before? Yanagi was an ex-police officer, but I haven't worked long enough to have met him. Even if he had been in investigations, we wouldn't have been introduced. Did I pass him somewhere? I think I'd remember someone like him. I racked my brain and had no memory of him. But if we'd actually met before, then I'd been terribly rude to him. I'm sorry, have we met before? Yanagi grinned bitterly as at my timidly asked question.
いや、なんでもない。気にしないでくれ。これじゃ下手なナンパみたいだな。
He's cute. Okay.
そのあれだ榎本が持ってる本を読んで
No.
知り合ったばかりの女性と会話するときはまずそう切り出せと書いてあってなだから
No, I'm liking his route way too much. I'm weak. I'm weak. I'm so damn weak. Guys. I'm so fucking weak. I see. Of course I knew he was lying. Even though I didn't remember it, I was pretty sure that Yanagi and I had met before. Oh. So I'm still right, but his excuse was still cute. So suppose I shouldn't pry any further. Something about the mood told me not to press. In an attempt to break the awkward tension, I deliberately sounded cheerful. The book Inamoto has, right? Okazaki mentioned it. 100 heart-jerking love confessions, right?
ああそんな名前だったなというか岡崎はなんで知ってるんだ
I just didn't think that you needed to use something like that.
俺もそう思う
I felt a great relief as he broke into a smile and laughed. Have we met before? Did you call me out here just because you wanted to ask me that?
一応それもあるがどちらかといえばお前がメールで聞いてきたことの方が気になってな
About the goal of X Day?
ああ
You said you thought it was revenge. That means...
星野お前はどう思う
Yanagi looked straight in
お
my
前も
eyes.
知っての通り X デイ事件は連続凶悪犯罪だ一つ一つの事件が複雑俺はそう踏んでいるだからおそらく個々の事件を捜査しても大きな進展は見られない今までに起こっている多くの事件は一体誰が何のために何を望んで起こしていると思う別にお前を試そうとしているわけじゃないだがこれから X デイ事件捜査に向かって協力していく者同士だできればお前の考えを聞かせてほしい
Yanagi's questions resembled the doubts that I had when I was reading about the cases. But...
どうした
Are you sure? I softly touched my right hand to my collar. Yanagi probably would notice.
ああそれは気にしなくていい X デイ事件の真実を知れと言ったのは他でもないそいつだ
Yeah, they can fuck off if they're gonna use that against us.
聞かれて困る内容じゃないのは確かだろ
You're right. In fact, it was what the criminals wanted. That was the conclusion I derived while thinking about X Day. Then the first we should,
そうだな今分かってる範囲での一連の X だ
numeral, coin, Roman numeral and a coin. A Roman numeral and a coin, right? Those items been found at each of the crime scenes.
ああそうだ X デイ事件の象徴とも言える
Hi, Tailgater! I'm doing good. How about you?
な現場に残さ
Are
れ
you
た
still sick? I hope
映像
not.
できない精巧な作りをしているだから模倣犯であればすぐに判明するという
The thoroughness of the crimes suggests that even if the perps were different each time, they're directed by an organization.
何らかの目的のために
Yes, Adonis makes an announcement each time, and they've all had a common theme.
じゃあそのアドニスが表向きに掲げている目的は何だ
Oh, I'm sorry to hear that, Tailgater. Hopefully you have some pain meds. It would have been in the first announcement. Revive Japan. Yeah. I recalled Adonis's first declaration. I couldn't forget the words even if I tried. Restore tainted Japan.
ああ、つまり奴らは奴らなりの正義で動いているということになる。それが世論に受け入れられるかどうかはともかくな。
I did take some BC powder headache medicine for my lunch. Hopefully you took it with your lunch. Medications don't really work too well with on their own. It's monitoring. At times, justice could be a blade of evil. What justice means to one person doesn't necessarily hold true for another person. Some concept of justice would always exist.
じゃあ、彼らにとっての悪とは何だと思う？
That was also something that would exist, so long as there were people in the world. But what was evil to Adonis? The simplest interpretation would be that they thought that people who killed were evildoers. Aw, thank you! You're always so nice to me too.
そうだ。ターゲットが不幸な偶然で選ばれたのではなく、動機のある殺人だ。X デイ事件の被害者は全員、アドニスの尺度では悪ということになる。
The videos always said that they had a reason to be judged.
ああ、これが政権批判によるクーデターだが、2年前の総理大臣暗殺未遂事件の時のように、最終的な目的が政府要人の殺害だとしてもだ。その余興のためにカウントダウンと称して、関係のない一般人を何人も殺すなら、そういう稚拙な楽しみは感じられない。奴らには、奴らなりの信念が存在する。計画の緻密さからも、確固たるポリシーがあるタイプの犯罪だと白石に言っていた。愉快なんじゃない。
In other words, X-Day victims were killed out of revenge.
そうだ。
Yanagi quietly nodded.
人は動機があるから殺人を犯そうとする。動機の種類は数えきれないが、生活苦のため、優越感を満たすため、快楽のため、自己防衛のため、突発的な怒り、殺人を犯すに至る動機の中でも、復讐の割合はかなり多い。
Right. And the motive to the public was most willing to believe is revenge.
まだ推測の域に過ぎないがな。犯人から直接聞き出したわけでもないし、確証はない。
Fuck them criminals.
アドニスからの声明は、罪を犯した者への裁きと称されることが多い。
Then, in the past, what common sins have the X-Day victims all committed?
そういうことだな。神様気取りのテロ組織が代わりに手を下しているのか。
But we might make progress by investigating people who would have had grudges against the X-Day victims.
ああ。だがそういう人間には全てアリバイがある。
Yanagi smiled bitterly. The reason was made clear right away.
不自然なほどに完璧で崩せないアリバイがな。
Yeah. Unsuspicious alibis, which leads into the substitution murder thing. One thing was for sure. The X-Day murders had all been meticulously planned out. If the suspects all have airtight alibis, then the police can't really bring them in. Bringing in suspects without merit would be especially bad in this charged atmosphere. Moreover, the police officers killed in May had previously made mistaken arrests. The public had already long been murmuring that the police couldn't be trusting.
まあ、そういうわけでな。一つ一つの事件は当然調べなきゃならない。警察が隠している事実もあるだろうし、見過ごしているものだって絶対にある。そうした見えていなかった小さな糸口から事件の全容をつかめる可能性は捨てきれないからな。だが、X デイ事件はただのテロじゃない。事件を起こしているのは俺たちと同じ人間だ。人は感情の生き物だ。感情で動く。X デイ事件を起こさせるに至った原動力が何なのか。
The driving force for the X-Day crimes. So many murders, possibly just for revenge. How deeply rooted was that despair? How heavy could these emotions be? Pretty damn heavy if the previous rounds were to say anything. I can accept what Yanagi's saying. Anyone pursuing this would need to consider it. But Yanagi wasn't just thinking of solving the case. He was sympathizing with Adonis. No, that wasn't it. This wasn't sympathy. He had allowed himself to understand the thought process of these terrorists who were menacing society with their heinous crimes. Oh god. Yanagi, why did you quit the police to investigate the X-Day on your own?
警察にいたら見えないものもあると思ってな。
Yanagi's answer came freely, but I had a feeling that there was some hidden meaning to his words. I'm just an underling, so I'm sure there are circumstances I don't know about. Maybe from Yanagi's point of view, he had seen enough dark scandals within the police to cause him to reconsider being a policeman. Then, what's your reason for pursuing the X-Day cases? I felt like I had pried too deeply, but I really wanted to know. I didn't suspect Yanagi of any wrongdoing, but it intrigued me. When Yanagi talked about X-Day, there was a certain gloomy look that would fill his eyes. Everything went quiet for a while. Yanagi stared out past the fence. The view of Shinjuku spanned the skyline. Did I fuck up? Oh, I guess not.
ここから見える新宿の街が好きなんだ。
I could feel a strong determination in his quiet voice.
今は変わり果ててしまってるけどな。少し前までは賑やかで人が多かった。それこそ軽犯罪なら山ほど起こってた。どうしようもない街だけどな。それでも人が普通の日常を送れるここが好きだったんだ。俺は人間にとって一番大事なのは当たり前の日常だと思ってる。
Again, I felt that potent will in his eyes.
食べたいものを食べて仕事をして家族や友人と過ごして一日が終われば安心して眠りにつける。それが壊れるのだけは許せないんだ。だから取り戻したい。
A powerful wish. I knew these were his sincere feelings. Thank you. I apologize for prying.
何謝ってるんだ。
Yanagi smiled faintly. And just like that, all the tension I felt in the atmosphere was cut. I guess I was just nervous. I felt self-conscious.
急にこんな得体の知らない奴らに協力しろなんて言われたんだ。誰だって詮索くらいしたくなるだろう。自分の身を守るためにもな。
I really don't think you're shady at all, Yanagi. I didn't know what else to say, so I just sort of mumbled that, not knowing where to look.
いや、それはさすがにどうなんだ。警戒心が緩すぎるだろう。
Really?
少しは自覚しておけ。星野、俺も聞いていいか。
What is it?
お前の今の目的は。
Right now? His direct question caught me off guard. Yanagi wanted to know my current goal. It's true that up until recently, until I spoke to Yanagi, my goal was different. At first, I thought my priority was to remove my collar. Solving the case was a means to an end. But now I really want to know more about the X-Day crimes. Why did this happen? What do these criminals want? I want to know all that and find out how I can help as a police officer. Though powerless as I am, I don't know that I can contribute all that much. Even as a police officer, there was only so much I could do as a rookie. Moreover, I had this collar on my neck. Regardless of my intent, I was obviously connected to the criminals, and I could be a liability for Yanagi's group. At least I don't want to weigh them down. Yeah. Something conked me on the head. I was surprised to see it was a hand. Aw, wait, that's cute. That's cute, wait. I looked up to see Yanagi gently smiling down at me.
事件を解決するのに必要なのは力の強さじゃない。こんな状況に放り込まれても、お前はちゃんと自分の足で立ってる。十分強いだろう。 あまり悲観するな。
Yanagi. His words gradually seeped into my heart. They encouraged me.
必ずこの事件の全容を解明する。お前の首輪を外すことにもつながるからな。お前にもいろいろと協力してもらうぞ。
Okay. I had to do what I could, one thing at a time. I told myself that.
俺たちのこともそう簡単に信じられないとは思うが、どいつも悪いやつじゃない。
You'd be surprised! Yanagi looked away after his minor insult. Well, they do all have their quirks.
ただ全員が目的のために必死になっている。それだけは間違いない。扱いづらいだろうし、面倒をかけるとは思うが、長い目で見てやってくれ。
He naturally smiled as he continued. You really are like everyone's dad.
勘弁してくれ。
No. Daddy, I mean... Daddy Yanagi. That really seemed to bother him, so I couldn't help but laugh. There's a part of him that's blunt, and he's a man of few words, but he seems like a good person. That thought in my mind, I looked out past the fence. For a while, the two of us had stood and watched Shinjuku bathed in the darkness. Yay! I made Princess happy. Ooh, that makes me happy, actually. The next day, I was on call during my lunch break, and I could be summoned at any time. But before I eat, I should go see Sakuragawa in forensics. We get to see Sakuragawa! Sakuragawa, my girl! Ooh, my headphones died. Hold on, let me plug them in. You think I would learn to keep my headphones charged? Oop, I accidentally hit my mic. But no, I never learned. I never learned to keep my headphones charged. Then again, their battery life is horrendous. I took a deep breath and in front of the door to forensics and knocked. Excuse me. I opened the door and spoke to a man sitting just beyond it. Good afternoon, I'm Mary Hoshino from SRCPO, local office. Is Kotoho Sakuragawa in?
お疲れ様です。ちょっと待っててください。おい、桜川。
A woman seated at a desk further inside reacted to the call out. She was the woman I'd seen in the photo. This was definitely Sakuragawa.
なんだよ。今手が離せな。
Sakuragawa! Sakuragawa! It's her! My girl! My queen! Oh, what the fuck? I think I'm losing my mind. I thought I heard Sen's voice. Sakuragawa's eyes went wide as when she saw me, and she approached me right away. Good afternoon. I'm...
知ってる。ついてきな。
Okay, queen. I'll follow you anywhere. With that curt response, Sakuragawa exited the room immediately, without even waiting for me to do likewise. I anxiously hurried after her. She took me to the roof. We would obviously be less likely to be seen or overheard up here. Sakuragawa narrowed her eyes and scouted the area, and spoke once she thought it was clear.
あんたのことは笹塚から聞いてる。柳さんがやってる探偵事務所に X デー事件についての依頼が来たんでしょ。調査協力者を警察に送り込んだから世話してやってほしいって。ほんと迷惑な話だよ。
I'm sorry. Sakuragawa shot a doubtful and disapproving glare at me.
あんたさ、バレたらクビだって分かってんの？
I thought this was just a meet and greet, but Sakuragawa cut right to the chase. She was testing my dedication to the investigation. I thought I'd been doing everything I could. Ooh, fuck. Everything I could each day to protect Shinjuku and its citizens. I thought that the X-Day investigation was a distant, different world than mine. But now, I was in the thick of it. Right in the thick of it. Right in the thick of it. I want to do everything I can. I recalled the conversation I had with Yanagi.
ここから見える。今は変わり果ててしまってるけどな。少し前までは賑やかで、俺は人間にとってそれが。
I feel the same way. I wanted to eliminate suffering and sadness for as many people as I could. I thought I'd provide help through SRCPO. My feelings still haven't changed. Even if I'd lose my job and I'm not part of the police force anymore, I want to do everything that I can possibly do to protect the city. I clearly stated my convictions. Sakuragawa stood with a look of pure amazement on her face.
そこまで覚悟決めてるなら何言ったってしょうがないか。
Despite her words, she was far calmer than she was before.
わかった。できる限りは協力するよ。ま、笹塚と約束もしてるしね。
Yay! Thank you so much!
とは言っても、私にできることなんてそんなにあるわけじゃない。
Hey, anything helps, Queen?
アドバイスくらいしかできなくたって文句言わないこと。
Okay.
私にとって不利益があれば一切協力してやれないからね。
Of course, I would never do anything that would draw suspicion to you.
ならいいよ。何かあったらおいで。空いてる時間ならすぐに対応できるから。
Sakuragawa sighed and directed a faint smile my way. I bowed to her. Thank you again.
やめて。大げさすぎ。
I'm glad she seems like a good person. I was nervous because I didn't know who I could rely on within the station. It was heartening to gain an ally. The rest is up to me. I have to be sure to avoid causing any trouble for Sakuragawa. Ah. At that moment, my phone vibrated in my pocket. I hastily withdrew it and checked the screen. Oh my god, we get to go to the crime scene again! We haven't done this since Okazaki's route. Yes, this is Hoshino.
星野、事件だ。被害者が出た。
Uh-oh.
住宅街での犯行らしくてな。現場が混乱してる。特防にも応援要請が入った。すぐに向かうぞ。
Yes, sir. I hung up the phone and saw Sakuragawa running for the rooftop exit. I was sure she had orders to move out too. I have to hurry. I put my phone away and started running. Nothing much. We were just talking to Sakuragawa. Yay! Chapter 1 of Yanagi's route! This is gonna be a long stream.
今データを送ります。一つ聞いてもいいですか。以前も彼らについては調べたはずです。なぜ彼だけ再調査を命じたんですか。確かに彼女と彼の過去には深い関係があったようです。
See, I fucking called it. Like, I've called it several times. The MC have met Yanagi before. It's in the cards. It was in the stars. It was everywhere. I could see it from a mile away. They had met before. What would the point of that be? Oh?
なぜ彼を気にするんですか。ゼロ。分かっていると思いますが、我々にとって最も優先すべきなのは目前に迫った X デイです。
This is getting interesting, actually. This is getting really interesting.
例の人物が を出したと聞きました。計画外のことをされるのは困ります。着実に理想が叶いつつあると。それが真実ならいいのですが、いえ、何でもありません。では失礼します。
IG Yanagi, age 28, born in Tokyo. Honest, calm, and collected, he possesses an outstanding investigative abilities. However, as part of Investigation Section 1, he allowed multiple suspects to escape. This is believed to be the cause of the incident in his past. He required observation to be a rehabilitation suspect, but he left his post in August. After that, he began an independent investigation using Shinjuku as his HQ. Now, will he be judged, or will he carry out judgment? Oh, we don't get to see the chaos!
現場に残されたローマ数字1およびコインの一致から X レイ事件確定でそれ以外の情報は
I unconsciously shrunk under Sasuke's intense glare. I don't have much to go on. After Mochida called me, I made a beeline to the scene, but the victim was already dead, and the initial exams were done. Mochida and I have been canvassing the area for witnesses and to calm people down. Things had finally gotten under control a moment ago. Then, Sasuke texted me and I went to the detective's office on foot. Today's crime was revealed when Adonis sent an email with this video URL directly to Shinjuku Station's shared email address. The video was analyzed and the filming location was determined, but criminals had fled before the investigators got to the scene. But they haven't managed to grab any suspects yet. I had no comeback for that. I just stated the facts.
何言ってがる。最初から期待なんかしてないだろ。
当然。俺が解析してたら犯人が逃げる前に現場を特定できた。
Then why didn't you do it, bitch?
お前と一緒にすんな、単細胞。
単細胞言うな、若め野郎。味噌汁に入れて食うぞ。
While listening to Sasuke and Enomoto hurl insults back and forth, I let out an audible sigh. I feel like he's saying that I'm completely useless. The thought seriously depressed me. It was tough for me to point to anything I'd done to help solve the case right now.
戻った。
あ、柳先輩、お帰りなさい。
Apparently, Yanagi had gone out earlier, and nobody had mentioned it. I wonder if he went to the crime scene. I heard that Yanagi went to the scene every time a homicide was committed. I didn't see him there, but he might have shown up there while I was busy gathering statements from witnesses.
現場周辺の様子。
現場行ってもどうせ直接見られやしねえのによくやるよな。
念のためな。まあ、目新しい情報が手に入ったわけでもないが。
Aw, damn.
初動捜査でもこれといった手がかりはなかったんじゃないか。
It was directed at me. Feeling ashamed, I meekly nodded. That's right. They found nothing useful in the suspects. The victim had only moved here recently, and it sounded like he was paranoid. I think that's basically all we learned.
やはりそうか。
役に立たねえな、このバカ。
Fuck you!
いや、今の時点で得られる情報なんてその程度がせいぜいだ。今日起きたばかりの事件だからな。そもそも X デイ事件に関して警察はどうしても後手に回らざるを得ない。わざわざアドニスが声明を出すくらいだ。不都合な手がかりを現場に残しておいてくれるほど親切じゃないだろうしな。
Thank you, Yanagi. Thank you.
そりゃそうだけど
Yeah, shut the fuck up, Takeru.
そうだろう。
Aw, thank you, Tailgater. I respect you too.
今までの事件との共通点、もう見つかっているんじゃないのか。
What kind of game? What kind of game?
当然
I watched Sasuke snort and began to work. When something dawned on me. Was Yanagi helping me just then? Right now, it was obviously hard for me to get the new information, but the same was true for the police and Yanagi.
今日の事件の被害者田中悟は8月まであるゲーム開発会社に勤務してた
What's your question? I'd like to know. I'd like to know the question.
田中の担当はあるネットゲームの開発ここまで言えばわかるだろう8月の被害者たちがこぞってプレイしてた例のゲームだ
マジか。
引っ越しも怯えて暮らしてたのもいつか自分が殺されると思ってたせいなら妥当じゃねえのとりあえず8月なら俺の担当署にいた頃の容疑者リストあるからまずはそこから当たってく
That doesn't surprise me. That doesn't surprise me.
じゃあ、あとは笹塚に任せる。
Of course, people. Then I watched a baby TV turn into a Russian prop. Gotta get them young, I guess.
了解
With that, Sasuke turned his chair around. It appeared he had no need for anyone else, so he was focusing on his computer. Why am I even here? I felt like I had no place. I knew that I wasn't helping much. I was only here because of my collar, because Adonis told us to pursue the crimes. Being coddled due to my lacking experience did not ease my feelings of powerlessness. One meows and one barks. To be fair, Pooch, I would laugh too if I was watching kids media and all of a sudden it was just Russian propaganda. Like, what even is that?
星野、
Huh? While I was deep in thought, I felt something on my head. It was Yanagi's hand. He lightly tapped me on the head.
そんな顔するな。
Yanagi. I have to get it together. Scolding myself, I looked at Yanagi, who was gazing at me intently.
星野、今日の事件について、お前なりに思ったことを聞かせてくれるか。
Oh, they didn't play Rah Rah Russian Queens, Splashing Sounds, what did they? Actually, no. Hold on. Maybe cats do. I want to know this actually. I want to know if any cats working for police. Cats working for police departments typically serve as station mascots, morale boosters, and comfort animals for staff and crime victims. Cats do work at police stations. Also, there's the MC. She's basically a cat. Yes. I thought again about everything that happened in case today in order. And if I compared it to the X-Day crimes that occurred before, compared to previous X-Day incidents, the crime scene today was discovered much more quickly.
What? どれくらい?
Investigators went on the scene of crime only minutes after the death of the victim. None of the other homicide scenes so far were pinpointed so quickly, as far as I know.
それだけ声明に使われた動画が分かりやすかったということか。
That's a possibility. Speaking of which, the video was sent directly to the police, and only the police this time.
い 今まではずっとネットにアップされてたよな。全国一斉公開で警察が何度削除してもすぐ拡散されてた。
Ah. Well, I'm sure that cats are working just as doggedly as their dog companions. Yes, but the video of the incident was not publicized anywhere on the internet. Adonis boasts about the righteousness of their goal, and they want to sway public opinion, so you'd think they'd be sure to broadcast this. Based on that, it feels more like a spontaneous crime.
本来予定されていなかった計画外に起こされた事件という可能性。
Yes, until now, Adonis have been meticulous in their planning and execution of their crimes. But it doesn't seem that way this time. Still, they left a coin in a video. I don't think this is a copycat crime.
一つ考えられる理由としては焦っている。
I got that impression. The organization might not have control or... Aw, thank you! I'm glad I made you laugh. Maybe this is accounted for in Adonis's plan. That's a possibility as well.
他にもいくつか理由は考えられるが、今までと様子が違うのは間違いなさそう。
There were still many unknown variables. Still, this could be an opening that would give us a glimpse of the bigger picture.
そういや星野。
Yes? Just when I was getting deep in thought, Enomoto suddenly clapped his hands.
お前、結局どの事件を捜査するのか決まったのか。ねえよ。意外とのんきだな、お前。
I was interested in any case, and I wanted to solve them all if I could. Ooh, I remember. It's like $6 million, I think. I can't remember what it was called, though. But I felt like it was just retracing what HQ and Yanagi had already been over. Wasn't likely to be all that affected. And that's exactly why I ended up deciding on one thing. I want to know the truth about Adonis and all the X-Day incidents. When I stated my intentions out loud, Enomoto's eyes widened.
X-Day 事件全体
So Sasuke, who's been acting like he wasn't paying any attention to me, was now looking at me with a doubtful expression. I didn't think that I'd said anything that was that shocking. That said, I honestly have no idea where to start.
わかった。なら、
Yay! I did it!
の俺のサポートに入ってくれ。
What? Yanagi suddenly piped up. Help, Yanagi? Are you sure? I floated the question out there hesitantly. Yanagi's expression didn't change.
俺の仕事は各月の事件の情報を一元化して整理することだ。発生から時間が経っている事件でも関係者情報が増えたり、新たな事件が起こることで前の
Hooray, we're back!
一連の事件としての情報整理は常に更新していく必要があるからな。
How are you gathering information to begin with?
基本的な情報については笹塚が警察のデータベースから拝借して。そんな顔するな。オンライン上に上がっているのは大抵抜かれても問題ない程度の情報でしかない。
That's a lot of horses.
だが聞き込みや通報から得られる情報は意外とバカにできない。些細でも全体像がガラッと変わることがある。こうして事件全体の共通点や相違点を洗い出す。それからアドニスという組織を調べるのも俺の仕事に含まれて、警察の動きも気になるし、お前がサポートに入ってくれるなら助かる。
Okay, I understand. Then I look forward to working with you. I thought I had no way out, but if I was helping Yanagi, I could relax. I'm glad and a little relieved. Unwittingly, I let out a relieved sigh, but then I panicked and chided myself for it. I have to do my best to help him. Otherwise, my being here was pointless.
今日の事件については 警察内部で新しい情報が出てきたら教えてくれ。だが、怪しまれるような無茶はするな。
I understand. I don't think the information that trickles down to me will be very valuable, though.
まあ、そうだろうな。そこは気にしないでいい。
Okay.
今日の事件、さっきも言ったが、基本は笹塚に任せる。進展があったら報告をくれ。
了解。
じゃあ、今日はこれで解散だ。
With Yanagi's dismissal, the mood in the office seemed to lighten a bit.
解散つってもな、なんかもう外ぼんやり明るくないっすか。
そりゃな。
I checked the clock to see it was almost dawn. Upon realizing that, all the fatigue suddenly did taking hold of my body. Ooh, daddy status? Fuck. That's hard. Actually, that's not too hard. It depends on what you mean. Oh, depends on what daddy status entails. If it's characters that act like a dad, Yanagi would definitely be up there. He is definitely the dad of the series. Though honestly, in my opinion, it's more like mom. It's more like a mom. Just in general. Yanagi. Who else? Aizawa from My Hero, I think. Who else? Because I feel like there's a difference between daddy and dad. I feel like for dad, you just have to be like kind of a father figure, but for specifically for daddy, you have to be hot as well and have like a caring attitude. Like you can't be a fucking asshole and be daddy, in my opinion, unless you have daddy issues. Then whatever. That's a whole other thing. Those are the two I can think of off the top of my head. Oh, sure, thank you. I wanted to hurry home and get some sleep. I was happy to take him up on his offer. I know you do, Poochie. I'm sorry to bring that up. Yeah, have fun with your train game. Something's really about to come up. For me, Clifford Unger from Death Stranding. I need to see that. Hold on, let me look him up. I see him from Death Stranding 2. I can't relate to it. Actually, no. You want to know who's really daddy? Nanami from JJK. Nanami is dad and daddy at the same time, and he's perfect. Outside, it was much brighter than it seemed from the view through the windows. I wonder if I could still catch a nap. I was worrying too much. I should at least shower and have a cup of coffee at least. Yes? As I was focusing on staying awake, I was startled when Yanagi called my name. There was something gentle about that look. He was from the first game? I looked up images of him and I don't. Yeah, I'm looking at the right guy. I don't see it. Like, I could see why you call him daddy, but I wouldn't call him that. I wouldn't call him that. He's just dad. He's just dad. He's father. He's father material.
焦る必要はない。できることからやればいいだけだ。
He's like blonde. When I saw him, the first thing I thought was he looked like Yanami. He kind of has like 5 o'clock shadow, brown eyes. Kind of old. Eh.
急に操作しろなんて言われても何かでやればいいかわからないだろう。警察官としての操作とはどうしたって違ってくるからな。
A lot of things about this game is different from a standard police investigation, Yanagi. Yanagi had precisely figured out what I was feeling. His concern immediately filled me with a sense of ease. So transparent. I had to change my personality so that my mood wouldn't be affected so easily. The 5 shadows because he's dead. 5 o'clock shadow, more like 5 o'clock corpse shadow. A bit of stubble. That's what I meant.
Ah, Yanagi-san ni Neko-san.
Okazaki! Huh? We were startled by a very soft voice.
お前、どこから現れた？
ずっといたよ。
気配を消してか？
そんなことしてないってば。
He's just standing there where while Yanagi and the MC are flirting, just awkwardly watching. Paying no mind to Yanagi's sour look, Okazaki smiled at me.
それより、もしかしてこれから彼女を送ってくの？
それがどうした？
なら、俺が送っていこうか。
What?
いやいい。お前にも仕事があるだろう。こっちのことには構うな。
Yanagi's curt reply to his suggestion was surprisingly fast. It was as if he was trying to cut off Okazaki before he said anything else. But it'd be bad if I'm alone with Okazaki. They kept telling me not to give him information, so he can't know that I'm a police officer.
へえ、そんな追い払おうとしないでよ。俺だけじゃ頼りないって思ってるなら、柳さんも一緒でいいから。
本人が困ってるのが見てわからないのか。彼女はうちの依頼人だ。ちょっかい出すな。
だって、猫さんともっと話してみたいし。
Oh my god. The girls are fighting over me. They're fighting over me. Okazaki's smile was so pure and carefree. It didn't contain a hint of malice. He just kept insisting.
こんな時間まで相談が必要だなんて、そんなに難しい依頼なの？
That was why he bothered me. I had to lie to him, but I felt pretty terrible about it.
だから、詮索するなと言ってるだろう。プライバシーってものを知らないのか？
Nope.
じゃあ、柳さんが教えてよ。
探偵が依頼人の事情を話せるか？守秘義務の意味を辞書で調べてこい。
探偵なんて表向きの看板だって言ってたのに、本当に商売することにしたんだ。
お前には関係ない。
The girls are fighting over me.
警察とは関係ない自由の身だ。お前みたいのにうろうろされると気が休まらないんだよ。
でも柳さんたちは過去の X デー事件を再捜査してたんだよね。そっちはいいの？
Look. I don't mind this. I don't mind this. I don't mind this at all. If they could just like keep fighting over me, that would be great, honestly. The girlies are fighting! All I could do was listen to the exchange. I could hear concealed irritation and rage in Yanagi's voice.
Okazaki, お前何を企んでる?
Yanagi was glaring at Okazaki now. His gaze was so intense that I thought it would bore a hole right through his skull.
別に何も企んでなんてないよ。ただ君たちのことをもっと知りたいだけ。
The glare had no effect on Okazaki. There wasn't a crack in that bright smile.
何のために?
だって俺の任務は君たちの警護だよ。警護する相手のことを知りたいって思うのは自然なことじゃない？
表向きの理由はどうでもいい。上に命令されて、お前が俺たちのことを探っているのは知っている。
だからちゃんと警護するために君たちのことを知っておきたいんだ。
The girls are fighting!
大事なことなんだから。
ならせめて俺たちのことだけにしろ。いや、それも正直勘弁してほしい。どちらにしろ。彼女は関係ないはずだ。変な詮索をするな。関わるな。
Okazaki glanced at Yanagi, who was obviously furious at him, and chuckled for some reason. This whole time, Okazaki had been smiling, but that laugh just now was different. It was as something just now was so funny that he couldn't keep it contained.
何が楽しい?
柳さんも嘘がつけない人だよね。
どういう意味だ?
内緒。
Yanagi's frown etched deeper into his face. The tension was unbearable. Should I step in? I didn't think that interrupting would make things any better. I knew that yet.
ねえ猫さん。
Yes?
君は俺に話しかけられるの迷惑?
Trouble? That's not exact. I managed to stop myself, but I was also incapable of denying it. He looked at me sadly. Oh no! I was just totally unable to hurt him in the slightest way.
俺はね、もっと君と仲良くなりたいな。
Girl, me too, me too. I can't hurt him either. It's just seen. I think I've seen this. I think I've seen the CG. While flashing the world's most innocent smile, Okazaki took hold of my hand. Excuse me? I couldn't sense any ulterior motives from him. There wasn't a hint of malice in his smile. That said, I couldn't go along with this. What should I do? I was too panicked to say anything or hear it. I was completely out of sorts and as I had been earlier. Of course, he was the one to pull me out of the boondoggle. Look, I'm weak. I'm so fucking weak. I'll take a look at that later. I tend to forget to do things, honestly. Look, hear me out. The girls are fighting over me. Oh my god. Hear me out. Look, every girl craves a little bit of drama. I am no exception. To that. Yanagi.
お前は彼女を利用して俺たちのことを探ろうとしているだけだろう。
I felt a warm hand on my shoulder, and I calmed down a little bit.
職務熱心なのはいいが、だからといって誰彼構わず巻き込むな。
柳さんは俺のこと嫌いだよね。
Okazaki sighed. He sounded like he was sulking.
ずるいな。俺は柳さんや峰尾くんやタケルくん、 それに猫さんとも仲良くしたいだけなのに。
We know that's not true, but like, let me be delusional. Let me be delusional.
お前、またそういう言い方で煙に巻こうとしたって。
だってどう考えたってずるいじゃない。君たちはあったかい部屋の中で楽しそうにしてるのに、俺は寒空の下ずーっとここに立ってるだけなんだよ。わかる？結構寂しいんだから。
そういう仕事なんだろうな。
No, I'm gonna look at the locomotive right now because I do want to linger on this CG. I'm not gonna lie. I want to linger on it. I want to linger on the CG. I got distracted. I'm not gonna lie. I got distracted. Ooh. That's a cool train. The girls are fighting over me.
そうなんだけどね。でもたまには仲間に入れてくれたっていいと思うな。
だったら榎本にでも遊んでもらえ。こいつにはもう関わるな。
そっか。そこまで大事な存在なんだね。
He chuckled. I'm so fucking down for this.
いきなりごめんね、猫さん。あんまりよく知らない人に手なんて握られて困っちゃったよね。
No, I shook my head apologetically, but with a smile. I was finally calm. I was just glad to see that this all had finally blown over. Somehow, it felt vaguely like Okazaki had been deliberately acting that way to trigger Yanagi's outburst. But why? Was he aware that I wasn't actually a client for the detective agency? Maybe he had been trying to check. It's the world's greatest wingman! Then we heard a loud noise and the sound of fast approaching footsteps. Poor Yanagi. His face. Yanagi? Yanagi put his palm to his forehead and his shoulders slumped. It messed up his hair and it made him look a little younger to me. Ooh. A younger man who I've never seen before approached. He ran up to Okazaki, handed him a convenience store shopping bag. Sir, that must be a junior officer who works under Okazaki. Now that I thought about it, there was no way Okazaki would have been stationed here alone. I cautiously observed the man and saw that he also had an SB patch on his arm. Knew it. Huh? The man's eyes were wide, and he was staring at me with a serious look on his face. It was quite possible that he was familiar with the way that conversations went between Yanagi and Okazaki. But from the way he had jumped into the middle, I had a feeling he was high-ranking.
上司部下さんって
それより
Yoshinari!
自己紹介彼女とは初めて会うよね。
あ、そうでした。この間柳さんたちに依頼しに来たって方ですよね。
Aw, I'm glad your headache's going away. I don't know if I did much, but I'm glad I helped.
俺は吉成秀明。岡崎先輩の忠実な部下っす。よろしくお願いします。
Right, a pleasure. This one was a genuine SP officer as well. They have 2 SP officers assigned to them. Now I understood why Yanagi was so wary. I didn't know the reason, but it meant that they were under extremely tight surveillance.
付き合ってられるか。行くぞ。
Oh, yes. Answering him, I took the opportunity to hurry after Yanagi. Well, excuses then. I gave Okazaki and Yoshinari a courteous bow, and then following Yanagi after Yanagi went.
へえ、あれが噂の重要人物？普通の子にしか見えませんね、先輩。
Hey, yo? Huh? Remark made me stop.
こら
Fucking spilled the beans! He spilled the beans! Okazaki flicked Yoshinari's head hard. He had a pained expression on his face. His face said that he knew that they had been overheard. At some point, Yanagi had also turned around. His sharp gaze was directed at Yoshinari. Yanagi had also heard them. I also felt something was wrong.
吉成くんが朝ごはん買ってきてくれたし、猫さんを送るのは柳さんに任せるよ。
Okazaki just smiled in response to Yanagi's piercing glare. He honestly looked like he had no intention of returning or avoiding that gaze.
じゃあまたね。行こう、吉成くん。
ぐえ。
Yoshinari, why would you do that?
先輩、首絞まってるっす。
聞こえないな。
ぐるじー。
I almost feel bad for him, honestly. Then Okazaki dragged Yoshinari into an alley by the scruff of his neck. I watched them depart, almost as if they were fleeing. I heaved a huge sigh.
やっぱりもうバレてるか。
Yeah. To Okazaki's team, Yanagi's group were VIPs to be protected, pretense or not. Suddenly, I'd gotten close to the group. Of course, Okazaki would be suspicious of me. If they look into me, they'll figure out pretty quickly. They'll discover I was in the police.
だが、岡崎はあくまでも知らないふりを貫くつもりのようだな。
It appears so. If he already knew I was an officer, it would be normal for him to wonder why I was conducting investigations outside of work. But he was overlooking it. I wonder why. I just hope you feel better.
そもそも、岡崎たちの真意や目的もわからないままだ。今は考えても仕方ない。
Yeah. In any case, I was also being monitored by the police, in addition to Yanagi's team. Not even counting Adonis, my hands were full. I started to worry about everything piling up.
大丈夫だ。なるべくお前から意識をそらせるようにする。
Yanagi.
ただ、前にも言ったが、岡崎には気をつけろ。いいな。忘れるなよ。
Yes. Aw, I'm kind of sad that I have to be careful around my man, though. I squashed my anxiety and firmly nodded. I said it out loud so my heart would hear. Thanks for the encounter this morning, my caution towards Okazaki had undoubtedly risen. I'm glad that you're here. We're back to Yanagi's perspective already. There's a lot of Yanagi's perspective in this route.
ああ、ちょっとな。公園で一服してた。
今やどこも禁煙ですからね。喫煙所あんまないしな。
ついでにほら、土産だ。
あざーっす。たける、ドーナツあるぞ。
よこせ。
じゃ、俺サンドイッチも。いやー、しかしな。
なんだ。
まあ、柳先輩が自分から言い出すとか意外だったなって思って。
意外？
星野のことですよ。自分のサポートにつけって言い出したやつ。
I'm glad you found it too. Yanagi's a gentleman. I don't know what you're talking about, Enomoto.
だってもともと反対してましたよね。危険だから捜査に関わらせるのは賛成できないって。それじゃなくても首はつけられてるし、こっちの情報も筒抜けだし。
だからだろ。
どういうこと？
柳さんの下で事件全体を追ってる風に見せておけば、事件に直接触れなくて済む。傍から見りゃバカ猫が操作してるってことには間違いねえから、あっちの要求も飲んでる。総括しても危険は減るってことだ。
つまり星野に操作させるつもりはやっぱりないってこと？
まあ、そうなるな。
Damn. Okay, Yanagi. Fair enough, I guess.
もし彼女自身に何か調べたい事件があったなら話は別だったが、首輪をつけたやつが何を企んでいるかわからない以上、操作をしてるふりでごまかせるならその方がいい。
そういやあいつ事件全体
It's kind of something that I've always wanted to do since I was a kid. Honestly, I saw a couple of friends of mine were doing it, so I kind of just like, you know what, fuck it, I'll throw my hat in the ring, and finally just did it.
なら柳先輩とペア組んで操作してるふりさせるのが一番ってことか。
星野は警察官だが、まだ新人だ。捜査に関して手慣れてるわけでもないしな。
まあ、バカ猫の操作能力に期待できねえって点は同意だけど。
Fuck off, Sasuke.
んだよ。眉間にしわ。
ちょっと黙っとけ単細胞。
お前な、単細胞って。
柳さんに聞きたいことがあんだよ。
なんだ？
柳さん的にはどうなんだ？あいつを少しでも疑ってるから手元に置いて見張ることにしたのか、それとも絶対白だって思ってるから。
星野自身に悪意はない。おそらく自覚もない。だが本人の意図とは関係なく必ず犯人との関わりは持っている。
犯人はあいつの知り合いってことですか？
犯人からの手紙を思い出して。
Damn. They really do. He does suspect me after all. Damn. Unfortunately, yeah, I do still have your mom's corpse. I'm glad I inspired you, Tailgater.
バカ猫のこと良き理解者となり得るって書いてたな。
そういやそうか。ある程度あいつのこと知ってなきゃそんなこと言えないよな。
首輪をつけられた時の状況を考えると、犯人はある程度星野の行動パターンを把握できていた可能性が高い。最低でもそうだ、帰宅経路、そしてあの日の帰宅時間、それらの情報を不自然なく入手できてこそ、彼女一人をああやって新宿園におびき寄せることができた。
This is why I think that Saeki is suspicious. That's just me though. I could be wrong. But look, he just...
つまり、もともとの知り合いが最近知り合ったか、一方的に彼女のことを知っているか。
なるほど。つまり
Okay, so he doesn't suspect me.
おい、何あっさり納得してんだよ単細胞。
だってあいつ嘘つけるようには見えねえし。
そりゃな、そんな頭があるならもっとうまくやってるだろう。でもやっぱ納得いかねえ。柳さん、あいつに裏がないって信じる根拠は？
根拠か。勘だと言ったら
He would, but also that you just don't want to admit that you knew her.
勘ってそんなあやふやなものを根拠に人を信じるとか理解できね
まあ、お前の言い分もわからなくはない。
つうかちょっと待ってくださいよ。首輪つけたやつが星野の知り合いなら、それって警察関係者って線が濃くなるってことですか？
いや、星野はまだ新人だからな。警察に入る前の人間関係を無視する理由は今のところない。
あ、そっか。
それこそ星野が道端で助けた一般人が犯人だったなんて可能性もなくないからな。
Aw, I'm sorry, Poochie. I hope you can leave that environment and rebuild your self-esteem.
それ、該当する範囲がやたらと広がっただけじゃ。
It's hard when you... Though I don't know your situation, it's harder when you're living with people like that.
「その理屈で言えば犯人は柳さんって可能性もあるわけだ。
は？なんでそうなる？
バカ猫のこと前から知ってる風だっただろ。
なんでわかった？
カン。
Shut the fuck up, bitch.
ちなみにお前もな、ミネオ。バカ猫と新宿署で会ったことあるだろ。
あ？会ったことねえけど。
Good for you.
ねえのかよ。前独り言かなんかでブツブツ言ってただろ。
独り言？
前に見たときはもう少しおとなしそうで可愛かったの。
マジで？俺そんな独り言言っちゃった？
Animal, what the fuck?
白石さんは初対面っぽかったけど、あの人なら会ってたとしても適当に偽れそうだし、つまり容疑者から外れるのは俺だけか。
んだよそれ。お前だって隠してるだけかもしんねえだろ。おいタケル、どういうつもり？
やめろよなもと。笹塚は可能性の話をしてるだけだ。
And I hate that he is. He's a fucking bitch. I'm gonna throw hands with him.
可能性？
交流が深くなくても、それこそどこかですれ違っただけの接触しかなくても、
そういうこと。ミネオならともかく、俺は根拠もなしに柳さんを疑わない。
おい、なんでそこで俺はともかくなんだよ。
安心しろよ。お前みたいな単細胞が。
Fuck off.
それ喜んでいいのかわかん。
とにかくだ。今はまだ犯人が星野に直接接触していなかったとしても、今後近づいてくる可能性は十分ある。やはり注意して見ておく必要がある。
What's wrong with looking like Elvis? Elvis is cool.
そうっすね。
おい、のんきなこと言ってる場合じゃなさ。
なんだよ。
まさか。
いいよ。
そのまさかだ。
これ
マジかよ。だって昨日も。
ああ、昨日の今日でやってくれる。アドニス様の X デーへのカウントダウンだ。もうネットで拡散する。
Well, okay, yep, it's this. Blah, blah, blah. Well, depends on the person. It appears that way. The station was abuzz with talk about the incident that occurred this morning. The crime scene investigation was already done and the investigators were returning. They'd likely be planning on how to deal with it.
被害者の身元判明にはかなり時間がかかるかもしれないな。
Yeah. SRCPO had been asked to deploy today. We were on standby in the station.
朝っぱらから住宅街にある公園で犯行に及ぶとか、堂々としてるよな。
Saiki had shown up at the station and joined our conversation with a frown.
現場に例のコイン残されてたんでしたっけ？
ああ。だがまだ解析中だ。模倣犯の可能性もなくはない。
Damn. That's rude. That's rude. You're better than Joe Dirt. It's in his name.
ただ声明動画もあったし、 ぼ間違いなくアドニスの仕業だろう。
昨日も事件あったのに。
Yeah, something seemed amiss here. Though the videos accompanied all prior murders, there hadn't ever been consecutive incidents. This would mark a departure from their previous MO. What's changed since yesterday's crime? It hit me once I thought about it. Almost unconsciously, I touched my neck. It didn't start yesterday. Not if I considered my collar as an incident. Ever since I was attacked, the crimes have been deviated from their carefully planned nature.
おーい、大丈夫か?
Oh, Saiki. He stuck his face in mine while I was deep in thought. My heart almost burst with shock. I'm fine. It's nothing. I was just thinking to myself.
そうだよな。2日連続でこんな事件が起きちゃ、君も銃殺に焼死だろ。痛かっただろうな。
Saiki hung his head bitterly. His voice was sad, mourning the victims. It made me worry about his well-being. He was a gentle man.
そんな顔をするな、最近。悲しんでいるだけじゃ事件は解決しない。
Mochida clapped Saiki on the shoulders in an attempt to lift his spirits.
俺たちは俺たちでできることをやろう。もうこんな事件を起こさせないためにな。
Yes, of course. This was no time to feel sorry. Anger began to well up in my chest. They say they're delivering justice and judgment, but this is unforgivable. Damn, okay, go off, Poochie. Go off. It was clear that they were enjoying the notoriety that came with the killings. We absolutely couldn't let Adonis continue. We wouldn't let these killers do as they pleased. I swore this to myself.
さて、そのためにも仕事だ仕事。最近、お前も持ち場に帰れ。報告書は終わったんだろ。
そうでした。提出してきます。それじゃあ。
Bye, Saiki.
俺も午前の分を報告してくる。星野、あとは頼むな。
Yes, sir. After I watched Mochida and Saiki leave, I took out my phone. What can I do right now? Regardless, there was something off about Adonis's activities over the past several days. I wanted to collect my thoughts, so I decided to text Yanagi. Has the team gotten a rundown of today's events yet? We heard the gist from Sasuke. Was there a matching coin? Maybe. They're still analyzing it. I'll ask again later. Also, this came up yesterday. Something is different about the way Adonis is operating now. My hands paused after I typed out the text. Something is definitely different now, and the reason I was settled on it was... I think it's this one. The profiles we were looking into spanned a range of ages, personality, and lifestyles. There were multiple perpetrators. In other words, Adonis had a greater number of pawns than we imagined. The more henchmen, the more likely it was that one went rogue. It's just a possibility, but we couldn't rule it out, and that's what I thought. It was... Fuck. No, it's this one. Oops, I didn't mean to. Yeah, it was this one. There we go. No, we're just gonna keep skipping, because I'm a dumbass and should have saved before making the choice. It's the ultimate wingman and Okazaki, and I love that CG. Okay, it shouldn't take that. It shouldn't take much longer for us to get back to where we were. What would Lyle say about this? At this point, I have too many fictional husbands to really mind too much. Look, if anything, Okazaki came first, so... Yay! I did it! I get it. Bye, Tailgater. Have a nice meal. Good. It looks like I wasn't off base. It was just a possibility, but I couldn't rule it out. That's what I thought. His reply to my hypothesis seemed a bit more curt than I expected. I wonder if I said something strange. I hesitated to send any additional text after that unexpected response. Huh? Another text came. I thought it was from Yanagi, but when I looked at the message, it was from a different sender. Ooh? Oh shit, it's from Shiraishi. We're going well. Shiraishi? I was surprised that Shiraishi had texted me, and the confusion made me tilt my head. Probably. By work, he didn't mean my actual job. He's probably referring to the demands and the people who put the caller had made. The truth of X-Day incidents. I doubt it would be revealed so easily. Is he toying with me again? Not so much. Still, there was a little point in lying to him. So I sent an honest reply. Didn't you pair up with Yanagi? Yes, but I have work and I'm not sure where I should start with this. Don't you think you've been leaning on Yanagi too hard from the get-go? I felt like Shiraishi's message had opened up my eyes. He's right, I have to work on my own. I was Yanagi's support, so I'd been passively waiting for Yanagi to act. The coin they found today matched. That was a new piece of information. The coin matched. It was proof that Adonis was behind us. Understood, thank you. I quickly replied and stood up. I wanted to speak to Shiraishi directly. I looked around and saw that Mochida had returned to his desk. Mochida, may I leave the desk for a bit?
Oh? Oh, 行ってこい.
Sorry, I'll be right back. Maybe he thought I was going to the restroom, but Mochida let me go without a fuss. I gave him a small bow and left the room. Huh? When I went to visit Shiraishi, the door was open for some reason. I can hear voices inside. I knew I should come back later if he was busy, but I decided to peek inside. It's them! It's them! Huh? Sakuragawa furiously came storming out of the room. Excuse me? My voice was meek, but I was intimidated by her being on the warpath. Sakuragawa finally noticed me and reacted with surprise. Well, I have business with Shiraishi. Huh? Sakuragawa rolled her eyes back in derision, and I couldn't help but tremble. Sakuragawa? I faltered, not able to spit out a word. Why is she acting like I did something wrong? Well, I guess I had to say it's personal. Well, we were actually both part of Yanagi's team, but I wanted to speak with Shiraishi for personal reasons. When I replied honestly, Sakuragawa's eyes bulged and she began to She began shaking for some reason.
桜川さん、落ち着いてください。星野さんが困っていらっしゃいますわ。
Mukai. Mukai had suddenly appeared to rescue me from damnation. Heavenly intervention indeed. I sighed in relief.
主任なら中におりますわ。星野さん。ですが。
Oh God.
その前に少しよろしいですか？
Huh?
あなたにとっても大事なお話がありますの。
Mukai's smile was unnerving and I wanted to run. I no longer felt relieved at all.
さあ、こちらへ。
Okay. Of course, she wasn't about to let me run. Mukai took a firm grasp on my arm and also pushed Sakuragawa along. Somehow, I'd been dragged into the audio room at the end of the hall. Mukai had quietly gestured at a chair and I sat down, seeing no opportunity to resist. It's this CG again! Mukai had also sat down at a chair in front of a desk, and Sakuragawa leaned in, listening.
実は一つお伺いしたいことがあります。
What is it? This felt like an interrogation. Well, you are in an interrogation room. What did I do? I broke out in a cold sweat as I wondered what those intense faces were about to ask me.
あなた、主任とはどういったご関係なんですか？
What? Mukai's question didn't register in my brain at all.
嘘ついても無駄だよ。正直に吐きな。
My relationship with Shiraishi? What are they being so tense about it? These two women have called me out and were grilling me on my relationship to Shiraishi. Could it be? Is it like those women confronting each other in dramas? Hey, what's your relationship with him? You just met him, so back off. He belongs to me. Something like that? Thinking this, I tilted my head, puzzled. Might you two be interested in Shiraishi? I tentatively asked, trying to get a feel for the situation.
Huh?
Girl, you asked the wrong damn question. Their response was perfectly in sync. Apparently I was wrong. From the looks of pure disgust on their faces, I could tell that they felt the exact opposite. What's this about then?
聞きたいのはこっちだよ。ご存知の通り、主任は署内でかなりの変人扱いをされています。空気は読めない。人の顔も名前も覚えない。わざと傷をえぐるようなことを言い募っては自分を棚に上げて人をバカにする。謎の探求にのめり込むとヒートアップして、狂気に満ちた笑顔で延々と独り言。などなど。マイキョにいとまがあります。
This is Insandy's man, alright?
変人なんて表現生ぬるいよ。あれは少年が歪みまくってる。人を怒らせて反応を楽しむのはもちろん、嫌がらせにかける熱意は一級品だからね。
Right. I was aware that he was strange, but I honestly had no idea of the extent. I thought he was a man that was difficult to read, but...
そんな方ですから、男性はもちろんですが、女性もまず近づきません。初見だけは顔で騙されますが、一発でドン引きが常です。それなのに、面識のあるあなたはわざわざ主任に会いに足を運ばれました。しかも、個人的な事情とおっしゃいましたね。正直におっしゃってください。主任と。
You'll be happy to know that it is nothing like that. No, this is a big misunderstanding. Now I knew what they wanted, at least. I had no idea why they were so intense. Basically, they suspected me of having a romantic relationship with Shiraishi. We're acquaintances, or colleagues, maybe? Anyway, it's definitely not romantic. It was difficult to put into words, so I tried to summarize it. Then...
知りたいなら親切な俺が教えてあげよう。
Oh God, please don't do anything that make people misunderstand.
俺とその子はね、秘密の関係。
I have a headache coming on, man. I have a headache already. You're asking me?
やっぱりいいか星野。くれぐれも騙されんな。
Huh? That remark, Sakuragawa bolted from the room in a flash. Mukai was actually staggering. She looked physically ill. Shiraishi, who had just suddenly appeared and dropped a bomb, was just smiling. Mukai, are you okay?
そうだったんですね。半分くらい覚悟を決めていましたのに、いざ肯定されますと衝撃が大きすぎて平静ではいられませんわ。星野さん、裏若き善とある女性の人生が狂ってしまうのを目の前で見ているだけなんて、一言だけ言わせていただきます。
Mukai, it's not like that! I'm not like that! I didn't know how to react in face of such profound misunderstanding.
ですが、まだいくらでもチャンスはあります。嫌気がさしたらすぐにでも私を頼ってくださいませ。
はいはい、変なこと吹き込まないでよ。この子君たちと違って純粋なんだから。
失礼ですわね。純粋そうだからこそこうして親身になっているのですわ。それに主任、そこまでおっしゃるなら彼女の名前はきちんと間違いなくフルネームで言えますわよね。
Shiraishi had kept his wordless smile, so he'd probably forgotten my name. Probably.
どういうことですの？恋人の名前すら覚えていないなんて。
Like you said, you're misunderstanding.
芸道にも程がありましてよ。こうなったら天罰を。
芸道で結構天罰もそのうち甘んじて受けるからさ。
He's not wrong. He's not wrong. He's not wrong about that, at least.
この子と内緒の話があるから、向井さんも外してくれる？
よろしいですか、主任。署内で彼女に不埒なことをしたらただじゃ起きませんわよ。
心外だな。
星野さん、くれぐれもお気をつけて。騙されてはいけません。
He has no masculine wiles. The fuck you on? I love you, Mukai, but he has no masculine wiles. Before I had a chance to explain anything, Mukai spun on her heel and left. I think there's been a gigantic misunderstanding.
まあいいんじゃない？それより俺を
No, it's not fine!
何の用事？それとも本気で人に言えない密会でも？
I shook my head and replied to his teasing. It wasn't the time for that. I wanted to talk to you about the cases.
ま、そうだよね。まずは部屋に戻ろうか。
Shiraishi looked a little bored. Good.
鑑識の子が来てたのはちょうどコインのことを話してたからなんだ。
A coin? So there was a match. He told you that earlier, girl.
これまでの事件と性質が違う点があるっていうのが捜査本部の見解でね。今まで以上に模倣犯の可能性が疑われて相当念入りに調べたんだよ。
I see. They still haven't identified the victim?
それはまだ。招集は時間がかかるからね。ま、容疑者のプロファイリングは簡単すぎてつまらなかったけど。
Wow, you already built a profile?
もちろん。ご丁寧にアドニスが声明でヒントまでくれてるじゃない。
The announcement. Yeah. That means there has to be some connection to the July incident. All I could recall about July was that a male stalker had been killed.
思ったより頭が回るんだね。
Please stop teasing me. Even an amateur could understand this much.
あれ、バカになんてしてないよ。
If it wasn't a copycat crime, might Adonis have changed their methods? I wonder whether the consecutive events of yesterday and today were a shift in plans. What do you think, Shiraishi?
まあ一般的に見れば計画にはなかった犯行だと思うよ。
Conventional wisdom? What do you...
それの答えを俺があげちゃったら意味がない。
Shiraishi interrupted me as I tried to ask why, raising his index finger.
君は X デー事件の概要についてどこまで詳細を頭に叩き込んでる？
I've made an effort to thoroughly memorize everything that was available to me.
へえ、すごい自信だね。その様子だと素人でも知ってるレベルじゃないと思っていいよね。
I didn't say I didn't just use the databases. I looked into rumors here as well as on the internet. I'm pretty confident in my knowledge.
なるほど。さすが柳くんの下につくと真面目にならざるを得ないって感じか。
Ain't got a choice in it. It's not exactly it. More like I don't want to drag him down.
じゃあその努力がちゃんと実を伴っているかどうかテストといこう。これまでの X デー事件がどういう目的で起こされたかはもう分かってるよね。
Revenge, right?
そう。 じゃあ各月の事件で一体どんな復讐が果たさ
Okay, this is easy.
まず4月と5月の事件は
April exposed public police scandals. Only victims whose body was found was guilty of mistaken arrests.
はいよくできましたじゃあ7月の事件
July. Connecting today's homicide. Stalking.
はいよくできましたじゃあ
August. No, it's the internet bullying.
はいよくできました
Hooray! I did it!
11月の事件は動機がそもそも不明瞭なままだからまあこれくらいかな少なくとも4月から8月までの事件では分かりやすい動機が推測できるねこの動機から導かれる容疑者ももちろん上がっていた
But they all had alibis, didn't they?
そうつまりどういうことか
The suspects with clear motives had alibis. But how could they make their motives a bit more unclear? Someone acted instead of the ringleaders who had motive acted in their stead.
正解昨日と今日起きた事件がアドニスにとって予定外のものだ
They were unplanned. In other words, the two weren't carefully planned, premeditated revenge murders. The people with motive to commit murder could have passed the task to someone else? Is that what you're implying? Shiraichi's prompting led me to that response. When I voiced it, it suddenly all made sense.
ご名答よくできましたそう考えるのが自然だね昨日と今日の事件はすぐに容疑者が絞られると思う
So far, Adonis had planned her crime, so no connection could be made back to the revenge-fueled perpetrators. But it was possible that the recent killings were committed by those seeking vengeance. I understand this even less now. Are they trying to tell us to catch them?
わからないよね
Shiraishi shrugged, murmuring to himself. Had I just imagined that? Shiraishi was still smiling, but I thought I saw a flash of anger. Stop being pissed off, bitch. I finished work and was on the way home. I've been thinking all day. As expected, this is incredibly complex. I thought about what Shiraishi said. There was too much that I still didn't grasp. I also hadn't found any concrete leads, and Yanagi hadn't contacted me. He might have just helping me save face. It cheered me up a little when Yanagi asked me to help him, but the more I thought about it, the more I realized that he hadn't expected much. The collar was our only connection to Adonis. Put bluntly, it's all I contribute. I had no applicable experience and my academy scores were low, aside from marksmanship. What can I do to help? Time to go home. I momentarily pondered whether or not I should meet Yanagi, but I was already walking home. In my current state, I doubted I would be of any much help to him if I saw Yanagi anyway.
なんでこんなとこに
帰るとこ同じなんだから驚くことじゃないだろう
Okazaki! Huh? I'd been lost in thought while walking when I heard voices behind me. They sounded familiar. Okazaki! I turned around in panic. My brother Okazaki and his friend Akito were there. What are you doing out this late? Another murder happened today, you know?
その事件が起きたから休校になったんだよ
His rebellious glare worried me more. His boredom didn't make this okay. You have to day off because it's dangerous. You're not supposed to go out and about.
すみませんお姉さん和樹は俺を気遣ってくれたんです
Huh?
こいつ最近元気ないから遊びに連れてっただけなんか家には居づらいみたいだし
I felt some of the worrying alleviate as he muttered and avoided eye contact. I couldn't fault him for helping Akito, for trying to help out a friend. It's still dangerous to be outside. If things at home make it hard for Akito to stay there, then he can stay at our place.
うるせえな家だろうと外だろうと いつ死ぬかわかんねえのは同じだろ。
Kazuki? He seemed to spit the words out.
絶対安全な場所なんてあんの？家にいれば殺されないって保証あるわけ？
I
学校の奴らだって事件が起きるたびにバカみたいにはしゃいでるのもいるけど、本当は心の中じゃ怯えてる。次は自分の番じゃないかって。
His voice was tinged with overflowing anxiety. I was painfully aware of how that felt.
アドニスが起こす事件は正義の裁きだとか悪人しか狙われないとか言われてるけど、そんなんで安心できるわけねえし、ほんのちょっとでも悪いことしたことがないやつなんていないだろ。ただでさえ街ごと閉じ込められて自由も何もないってのに。
Poor I got even damn, Akito's just standing there as if he's not part of Adonis. Though he probably feels guilty too, I'm not gonna lie.
1月になんか起きるって言われてんだ。そしたらもう新宿なんて終わり。どうせ全部なくなるかもしんないなら好きなようにやらせろよ。
Only 1 month remained in the countdown. X Day was scheduled for January. I can't believe I only felt the urgency just now. We were running out of time. Even Kazuki was riddled with anxiety. I'd known about it, intellectually, but I hadn't really understood the situation. Please, I'm worried about you, Kazuki. There wasn't much time left. I didn't want him to give in to his despair. You're probably won't be able to attend classes regularly from now on, right? Look, I'm not telling you to stay home. Just be careful. Kazuki didn't nod. I expected as much, but it still hurt. But I guess he won't be reckless if he's with Akito. I felt ashamed as his older sister, but I was left to rely on Akito to keep Kazuki safe. Thinking that, I turned to Akito. Akito, are you okay? Are you feeling sick? I saw that Akito's tone was a bit off. More than that, he was looking ghastly blue.
悪い。変な話したな。
Kazuki also seemed to notice his friend's condition, and he left with him in concern. I watched the two of them hustle off, and then I turned to leave as well. I was going to see Yanagi. There was no time left. I didn't have the luxury of waiting to figure out what I can do. Kazuki could very well be the next victim. I didn't even want to think about that. Excuse me, I'm coming in. Huh?
お、びっくりした。いきなりなんだよ、お前。
I knocked, bitch! Chill. Enomoto was the only one in the office. It looks like he hadn't expected me, and his eyes bugged out a little. Where's Yanagi?
上。
Oh, on the roof? Thank you.
へいへい、どういたしまして。
Oh, Yanagi! When I reached to the rooftop, I found Yanagi, smoking and looking over the Shinjuku skyline. Maybe he was thinking about something, because he didn't seem to notice me. His eyes looked sad again. Those eyes which gazed down on Shinjuku were full of kindness and sorrow. Seeing him display his emotions like that made my chest feel tight. Yanagi. I didn't want to interrupt this break, but I screwed up my courage and called out his name. Yanagi turned around to face me. He seemed a little surprised.
お前、どうしたんだ急に。
Oh, I'm sorry for not contacting you first.
いや、それはいいんだが、今降りる。
No, it's okay. You can keep smoking here. Yanagi was about to put out a cigarette. I didn't want to inconvenience him too much. Although it's not good for your health.
ああ、やめようとは思ってるんだけどな。
Smiling bitterly, Yanagi took a drag on his cigarette. Acrid fumes wafted into the air.
頭を切り替えたいときには、ついここに来て一服したくなる。少しは。
Don't smoke, kids. It's not good for you. It smells bad. It makes your teeth yellow and ugly. Uncertainty?
なあ
I recall that he said that here before. Everyone's lost something sometimes. I'm also uncertain about something. I'm not sure what I can do to help. Before I said that I couldn't lose my way because I'm a police officer, but that was really me overcompensating for my insecurity. I want to figure out how I can help. I at least want to face the right direction. Welcome back! I hope you had a good... Hopefully your meal is good. What'd you eat? So Yanagi, could you please give me a directive? When I went straight to the point, Yanagi seemed to waver for a second.
俺のサポートをしてくれと言っただろう。お前と話していると考えを整理できる。十分。
You overprotective bitch! You being honest with me, Yanagi? What Okazaki was saying made sense rationally speaking. And Yanagi wasn't the type to lie, but I could feel a hint of dishonesty there. It had to be the type of kindness that someone who didn't lie would show. He's kind and forthright. I'd only known Yanagi for a few days, but I had no doubts about his character. Ever since we agreed to work together, I thought I was prepared for anything, but could it be that you didn't want me working on the investigation? I looked straight into Yanagi's eyes. He made another bitter smile. He sighed softly and put out his cigarette. Ooh, that's... I don't know what that voice was, Jesus. That sounds good, honestly. Pancake, omelet, Krabby Patty gummies. I fuck with that. I fuck with that hard. When we were here before, you said that you wanted to restore everyone's daily lives. If you meant that, then you must be stressed. There's only 1 month left in the countdown. We no longer have the luxury of time. If you really wanted my help, you would have asked more of me, gathering intel on the station, or menial tasks, or... Hooray, we're back! Is it because I'm slowing you down? He didn't want me on the investigation. I managed to stifle the shock of hearing him confirm it out loud. Huh? I was confused to see Yanagi's eyes widen in surprise. Me?
客観的に考えれば、お前の存在はうまく利用すべきだ。何しろ、首輪の先にいる奴が俺たちに X デイ事件を調べさせたがっているんだからな。首輪から情報を得られるかもしれないし、聞かれたくない話があれば、お前抜きでやればいい。何より、お前を捜査に関わらせれば、犯人が接触してくるかもしれない。
Then why?
俺が警察を辞めた理由は言ってなかったな。
Huh?
全部守りたいんだよ。文字通り全部だ。警察のルールでは守れないものも守りたい。綺麗事だと自己満足だと自分でも
He wants to be a vigilante, basically, I suppose.
それでも割り切れなかった。だから警察にはいられなかった。お前のこともできることなら傷つけない方法を探したかったんだ。
So you're saying you're trying to keep me out of danger?
そんな首輪がついてる時点で十分危険なのは分かっているけどな。でもだからこそそれ以上の危険に
That's stupid. I'm pretty much asking for it.
お前の捜査能力を重視していなかったのも事実だ。悪かった。
No, Yanagi's sentiments were kind, but Bella, say hi to Bella for me. Hi, Bella. Hey, yo, Bella. He had acted out of concern for me. His lack of respect for my police skills can be brushed aside because it was obvious. But it was no reason to be complacent. I just wanted to act. I wanted to seize my fate with my own power. This is my own opinion. I don't think it's the safest choice to exclude me. I want to help however I can. I want to have a job and do it well. Yanagi wore a pained expression. I held my gaze and channeled my will into it. I wasn't going to back down no matter what.
分かってはいるんだ。
He was quiet for a moment. Finally, he spoke in resignation.
それは困りますね。柳愛知さん。
Oh shit, the caller. A mechanical voice suddenly interrupted us. It was obvious where it had come from. The collar on my neck.
我々は伝えたはずです。彼女の X デー事件の真実に触れ、彼女が何もせず立ち止まるのであれば、我々にとって用済みの存在となるだけです。その意味はもちろんわかりますね。
I shivered. I couldn't suppress the spine-tingling chill. Oh, damn, that's pretty abrupt. But...
我々は伝えたはずです。彼女に X デー事件の真実に触れてほしい。
I think we're gonna stop here. Look at all the save data. 26 whole save datas. But anyway, yeah, in a second. Hold on, let me switch over. Thanks so much for joining me today. I had a blast. Stopping here because I know that chapter 2 is probably going to be very long. And I'm a bit tired and I have some stuff to do before to prepare for the next stream. Or tomorrow, we'll be at 6 p.m. EST. We'll be playing. It'll be a Trail in the Sky stream. Excited for that. But for now, I hope you guys have a wonderful evening, and I'll see you guys next time.